Good morning. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez on this Monday, March 31st, the last day of March, as we get ready for Liberation Day in America on April 2nd. A lot of winning going on in Washington, D.C. President Trump having a number of executive orders to sign today at the Oval Office of the White House. So you can stay right here with Right Side Broadcasting Network, whether it's live right here on this channel or if it's on Truth Social or X or our website. Wherever you see RSBN, we'll be uploading and playing live as we get it. The executive orders later today, scheduled for about 1 o'clock Eastern and about 5:30 later today. So we'll see how that coverage is. RSBN host Robert McNeely will be here for that coverage a bit later today. In the meantime, we're going to go over a number of headlines and a number of items you may have missed over the past 24/7 news cycle and over the past couple days as well. I mean, Byron Donalds the other night speaking in Bonita Springs, Florida, having his official campaign kickoff rally. Also, speaking of Florida today, Governor Ron DeSantis talking about proposing a elimination of property tax. So a lot going on in the free state of Florida, but a lot going on in Washington, D.C. as the wins keep coming. Now, we do know that we are 10 weeks into the presidency. We're talking 70 days. This is officially day 70. And the future is looking brighter than ever as we continue to see the wins. Even though the left-wing media and others want to really highlight, some people throwing things at, Tesla dealerships and committing acts of domestic terrorism, according to the president and the team. And those people will get, charged and have to do jail time because of these things. This is damage to property. This is causing a lot of problems out there. However, the media will try and highlight those things instead of highlight the greatness of what's actually happening before our eyes at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and throughout the country and throughout the world in some cases, as we're hearing reports that President Trump may be going to Saudi Arabia next month, actually in May. I'm getting ahead of myself on the months right now, but at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of great wins. There is a list of the 10 weeks of wins by the president. So we'll get to that list from the White House in just a bit. But also, Axios is reporting something quite interesting, that the White House may be changing up the seating chart for press briefings at the White House press briefings that we see on a weekly basis. So if that's true, once we see a confirmation from the White House, I'm sure it will be coming from Carolyn Levitt, if that's a true report there. Axios, decently accurate there. I think they have a lot of good stories out there, including finding out that this may be happening. That'll be quite interesting because then that means conservative media and independent media, podcasts, all sorts of people that do media these days. Instead of just the establishment sitting in those front, rows there, they make it scattered throughout the press briefing room. And really, it would be a great day to see that when the fake news has to sit in row 3 or row 7 instead of row 1. Because at the end of the day, this wasn't done by we the people. This was done by the White House Correspondents Association, led by some very extreme leftist journalists who have taken over the years there and said, this is where we're all, everybody, let's get together. We're on the same team here. We're all leftists. So let's just have you guys sit here. And none of those days are over. The greatness is in the White House now, so that means greatness will happen in the press briefing room. We the people represented there, because the people that are on conservative media speak for we the people. We're on the same team, and we're talking about the majority of the people that voted for President Trump. So that'll be quite interesting to see if that comes to pass, as it is 10:45 Eastern Time, Monday, March 31st. Again, President Trump just signed a number of executive orders a little bit later today, as we may be able to get a live shot of the White House out there. But in the meantime, we can go to a number of videos as well from President Trump and his team, Dan Scavino Jr. and others. Posted this video the other day, has everything to do with March Madness, but also Maga Madness. So as soon as that video is ready and I hear the directive that we can go to it, we'll go to that. We'll also go to a soundbite from the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, talking about the proposal of eliminating property taxes. We'll also get to Elon Musk's speech, a portion of it, from Wisconsin over the weekend. Quite awesome to see him there. We'll also go to the Maga Minute, and we also will go to the SecDef spokesperson, Secretary of Defense spokesperson Sean Parnell. Will give us an update on what's going on with the Pentagon And as we monitor any news that's coming out of the White House this morning, and then also, again, later today, we'll see a number of executive orders signed by the Commander-in-Chief. Speaking of the Commander-in-Chief, speaking of the White House, and speaking of winning, let's go to that video.
It's that time of year. The stakes are high.
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change.
The pressure, unmatched. And only the strongest will rise to the top.
Americans have always been the people who defied all odds and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom.
Some will fold under the pressure, but champions thrive in the madness.
Our country will be woke no longer.
This isn't just any competition. This is March. This is madness. And in this house, every play counts.
Our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed.
There's no second chance, no timeouts.
Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation.
Only the drive to win. And when the buzzer sounds, history will remember who backed down and who stepped up.
America is back.
And of course, a shout out to the Auburn Tigers yesterday. Obviously, we're based in Auburn, Alabama, so a great win over Michigan State yesterday, and Auburn moves on to the Final Four. So we'll be watching that. I'm sure a lot of you are watching as well. And if you're not and you're into politics only, you came to the right place. We love politics here because at the end of the day, these politics are involved in common sense and the Constitution and reporting what's happening out there in this country, specifically inside the Beltway of Washington, D.C. And in some cases, if there's breaking news outside of the Beltway, or if the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Defense or the President or the Vice President travels overseas, like the other day, Vice President Vance went to Greenland. We'll cover it here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Also, this is one of a couple broadcasts today here on the network. So a bit later today, Robert McNeely will be in studio. He'll be covering the executive orders that'll be signed at about 5:30. I believe that may be a live feed then. We also know the president will be signing some executive orders around 1 o'clock, according to the president's schedule that's sent out to the media. So any new executive orders signed today, times 2, we'll be able to share that with you right here on RSBN Live. Also, again, we're less than we're exactly actually 24 hours away, 48 hours away from the Liberation Day in America. So we're looking forward to that, April 2nd coming up, as this is the last day of March, of course. So we'll be seeing the reciprocal trade, the reciprocal tariffs. No longer will America be ripped off by other countries. As President Trump says, we've been a piggy bank to the world. Well, we're just evening things up, and that's all that's going to happen, I believe, on Tuesday. So we'll see that actually on Wednesday, April 2nd. So we'll be monitoring any developments there, as President Trump's been calling April 2nd Liberation Day in America. We'll have full coverage here at Right Side. In the meantime, today, again, executive order signed by the president. We'll have that coverage a bit later. Let's go now to a soundbite from the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who delivered a speech actually this morning, and he also talked about a proposal to eliminate property taxes in Florida, something that other governors and others agree with, and a lot of us do as well. So looking forward to seeing something like that happen in Florida. Let's listen in to Ron DeSantis.
I very much appreciate those folks in the House that set that $5 billion target. That'll be more than we've ever done by a country mile. And if that is something that's in the ball game, if that's something that they're willing to discuss, we'll accept that. But we'll come with a proposal to focus that $5 billion on reducing property taxes for people in Florida. And we have a chance. I know we want to get on the ballot, but we have a chance to do this year. So this would be kind of a opening salvo to what the main event would be in November of 2026. So with that $5 billion, I'm proposing that the legislature direct that to immediate relief for all Florida homestead owners. And if we do that, we would end up with about $1,000 in property tax cut for every homesteaded Floridian, and that will make a big, big difference.
All right, so the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, earlier this morning, I think all of us agree across the board, across the country, we'll take tax cuts everywhere we can have them, as we need to have more money. At the end of the day, a lot of us living paycheck to paycheck. It's not the easiest thing, I get it. So we're looking to see that there will be less government and more common sense in our country. That's what President Trump's about. He said it. I've heard him say it right here on the network, talking about part of the reason why they won is that common sense win, and also because of having less government but strong government. And we're seeing that in Washington, D.C. We've seen that for the past 70 straight days. Can you believe it? It's been 70 days that President Trump has been in the White House for the second time. And I was thinking about a MAGA hat the other day, or actually this morning. I was thinking about the fact that President Trump talking about a third term and all that, and it actually would be a fourth term because, you know, he won in 2020. So I was thinking maybe a hat that says 45 to 48 on the side, you know. We'll see what happens. But as President Trump was asked many times on the plane yesterday, Air Force One, he says, oh, that stuff's way too far off. We have this term to, keep winning. So that just reporting what's going on out there as we continue again to see wins in Washington. All right, so let's stay in the state of Florida for a little bit as we play these various videos and clips that are very recent here at Right Side. If there's ever any breaking news or any more specific information on various events, we'll go right to that. But in the meantime, we're going to stay in Florida. Byron Donalds just the other day on Friday night had a huge kickoff campaign rally for governor. So we're going to go to that speech in just a minute. But before I do want to share with you the White House put out the list of Week 10 wins. So it's been 10 weeks of the president in office. And so what we're seeing is a non-comprehensive list of wins in Week 10. So here are a few of them from the White House. President Trump's effort to secure the homeland continued in force. The Trump administration directed the successful apprehension of a key MS-13 gang leader, an illegal immigrant living in Virginia and operating as one of the top 3 MS-13 leaders in the United States. We're also told that ICE arrested 370 plus illegal immigrants as part of a major operation in Massachusetts, many of whom have serious criminal convictions and charges, including murder, including child rape, including fentanyl trafficking and armed robbery. So we're seeing that done when it comes to the southern border and ICE, working in tandem. Seeing those U.S. Army Stryker vehicles along the southern border, I'm still almost shocked to see it, but it's actually really good because it's a deterrent to anyone trying to cross the border. It's a show of force to the drug cartel. And it's also saying, guys, we're not messing around when it comes to this fentanyl poisoning, the crime that has happened in our country because of an open border. So we're seeing some great things on that southern border when it comes to those U.S. Army Strykers. We're seeing Marines. We're seeing the Coast Guard kicking some serious you-know-what out there, just intercepting vessel after vessel, getting narcotics, getting fentanyl, getting illegal aliens on these illegal vessels outside of San Diego, Point Loma, as some would travel from Mexico, Tijuana area, and try to go around that little bit of the border wall that goes out into the Pacific there. The Coast Guard's got it all covered, and so does our military. But also, on top of that, and Director, if we have that photo from the chief of the Border Patrol, he also just put out a post, actually, I believe it was this morning. The Border Patrol chief is Chief Michael Banks. So on 3/27, the chief says U.S. Border Protection agents were conducting routine train checks in Uvalde, Texas, when they found an unexpected passenger. He was a Honduran national with a felony conviction for a second-degree murder in North Carolina. The individual was sentenced to 171 months confinement and removed in 2020. He now faces prosecution for felony illegal reentry. You see that USC code there. That's an example of why train checks are important. This, according to the chief of the Border Patrol there, Chief Michael Banks. So that was a post from just this morning. Also, when we get it ready, because it literally just happened from the president of El Salvador, Bukele, he just posted an entire video of all of these MS-13 gang members that were getting sent to El Salvador to be put in the prisons. He literally just posted that video. We'll show that to you in a bit as well. All this as we monitor anything coming out of the White House, any information that we see. Back in the day, we called it on the wires, but now it's on Truth Social, it's on X, it's also through our independent reporting and sources here, through text or email and phone calls and that kind of thing. We also get information from the White House directly when it comes to the Office of Communications for the White House, just like any press outlet can get. And so that's why we know that today at 1 o'clock, President Trump will be signing executive orders. And then a bit later, around the 5 o'clock hour, he'll be signing another round of executive orders. So quite interesting to see what EOs those will be, as this is the last day of March, of course, entering into April, entering into the second quarter financially, and also getting ready for that Liberation Day in America. Again, President Trump in office for 70 days, and it's been quite the ride, and it's going to be continuing to be quite the ride for the next 4 years and beyond for MAGA, as we look forward to just the constant wins and our country being saved from the leftist leaders that would want to destroy it and bring it Marxism and communism and technocratic style of governments and all that social credit score junk that we just don't want. That's not what our country was founded on. We don't want it here in the great US of A. So I know you guys know that, but I'm glad you're streaming in today. It's about the top of the hour, 10:57 Eastern on this Monday, March 31st. So let's re-rack something. Let's go to Bonita Springs, Florida. Byron Donalds, the great congressman, endorsed by President Trump, putting out the fact that he is now, of course, running for governor, but he had an official hometown kickoff campaign rally just a few nights ago. Here's his speech.
My first event was 16 years ago, and I gotta tell you, 16 years later, I never thought I would be here. I started in politics as an activist. I became a legislator fighting for school choice and protecting your constitutional rights. I went to Congress where I battled the Democrats on Capitol Hill and the radical media on their networks. Over the last 2 years, I was campaigning for the America First agenda, because that's where the fight was. I knew Florida was red. Everybody knew Florida was red. You guys took care of that one. But I was all over the country in every battleground state because we had to win the most consequential presidential election of our lifetimes. So the fight took me to battleground states to make sure that Donald J. Trump became the 47th president of the United States. Along the way, President Trump and I developed a strong friendship. He watched me battle the left, take on all comers, and help him make America great again. President Trump has endorsed me to be the next governor of Florida. And he's endorsed me because he knows I will lead with courage, conviction, and common sense. And that's what our state needs to remain the blueprint for what is possible in America. As your next governor, I'll fix what's broken while building on what makes Florida the best state in America. To win this campaign, I'm asking for your vote. But more importantly, like Diane, I'm asking for your endorsement.
Okay, so that was a clip, of course, from Friday night. We actually have the full speech that will air a little bit later in the broadcast. As it's the top of the hour right now, 11 a.m. on March 31st. This is Monday. Happy Monday to you. I hope you had a good weekend as we continue to see the wins in Washington. And we're going to see a lot today, just the executive orders being signed by the Commander-in-Chief today. And then also, we're looking forward to April 2nd as Liberation Day. So it's a lot of trade and tariffs and reciprocal trade and all of that. If you don't know what any of that means, at the end of the day, it's meaning we're not going to get taken advantage of anymore by other countries when it comes to the taxes that are on different products and imports and exports and all that. So you're going to hear a lot about that, of course, on Liberation Day. I'm sure the great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, will be a part of that great day, Liberation Day in America, really evening it all out, because no more will we be the piggy bank, as President Trump says, for the country. Our hard-earned money, has to go to America first. I know I'm preaching to the choir on that one, but really it does. And it's been really tough to see all the billions and billions and billions, and I can keep going with that, billions and billions, have sent overseas. And so unless it's aid for what President Trump said the other day, where there was a huge earthquake in Thailand, somebody was asking, are we helping out in any way? And we are, but the point is, though, it's not going to be all these billions of dollars that were given to wars that we don't want to be involved in, and wouldn't have even started if President Trump was in office as the 46th Commander-in-Chief. So, all right, so anyway, we'll see what executive orders are signed a bit later today. We'll have that news for you here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go from the speech from Byron Donalds to, before we go to the Elon Musk speech from Wisconsin over the weekend, there's a video that the president of El Salvador just posted talking about the following information. I'll get to it right here on X. So Nayib Bukele, the great leader of El Salvador, he says, last night, in a joint military operation with our allies from the United States, we transferred 17 extremely dangerous criminals linked to Tren de Aragua and MS-13. All individuals are confirmed murderers and high-profile offenders, including 6 child rapists. This operation is another step in the fight against terrorism and organized crime. I believe we have that video from El Salvador. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. Wow, that from El Salvador, the president there, 17 from Tren de Aragua, MS-13, high-profile criminals now going to prison in El Salvador. And, maybe the left's wing would say, oh, they should be nicer to them. And no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works, especially when it comes to illegal aliens that commit crime in our country. And at the end of the day, hopefully within all of this framework, because sometimes I come from a faith perspective with all of this, that people can still see the light and get right. But outside of that, though, at the end of the day, when you commit crimes like that, you see what happens. You go to jail. And the president of the United States here and the president of El Salvador and others are saying no more when it comes to immigration, illegal immigration. Now, just recently, I saw a comment from Ronnie Jackson, the former doctor for President Trump in the previous White House, 45th White House. He says, quote, 14 minutes ago, deport every illegal, close the southern border, make America safe and secure again. I mean, it's a simple common sense agenda that's happening here that we see each day with the White House, whether it's at that press briefing room with new media, conservative media, and a possible seating chart change. If it's to law and order around this country, people that are law enforcement officers or border protection agents or our military, they signed up and they have jobs in all these sections in life because this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to protect, they wanted to serve, they wanted to protect freedom for our nation. And now we have a president and a team that is allowing them to do what they want to do. the Border Protection agents have had their hands tied behind their backs over the past 4 years. The amount of millions of people that cross that southern border, you think the agents were able to do their job? Not at all. They had to pretend maybe sometimes that look like they're doing what they're supposed to do. But what we're seeing now is an extreme drop-off of the amount of illegal aliens. If you remember the one statistic from the great border czar Tom Homan just the other day, he said in a 24-hour period, under Biden, 11,000 illegal aliens would cross the border. Under President Trump, it was down to 229, and that was last month. Right now, the numbers are way lower than the 229 at this point, and the border is also getting built. The entire wall, the gaps in some of the border wall that were not complete are getting complete now. If you just look at the chief, Michael Banks, I believe that's his first name, I want to double check that, just followed his account yesterday, the Border Patrol chief, it is Michael Banks. He on air, on various posts, showed different gaps of the border wall getting complete. So we're seeing the entire wall get complete. We're seeing our military, along with Customs Border Protection down there. We're seeing all of the border getting taken care of. And so that's one of the main things. If you remember on the campaign trail and all the rallies we covered, everybody we'd ask would say, what is the number one or number two policies you want to see President Trump work on? And everybody, of course, would say the border wall, the economy. I agree with that. More importantly for me would be, and I would have said it then and I'll say it now, will always be our constitutional rights and our freedom. But within that framework, the southern border, the economy, law and order, crime going down, safety, all the things that are what any human would want, except for those that are trying to destroy the country. So so we're looking forward to seeing what executive orders President Trump signs today. Let's shift over to Elon Musk, doing a great job as well with Doge. It looks like he was at a speech in Wisconsin over the weekend. We're going to play some of that speech here for you as we continue to monitor any 24/7 news. Even though it's a Monday morning right now, it's still all systems go when it comes to what the heck's happening out there in your world. And we're looking for it. And it's always great when you guys contact us as well through feedback@rsbn.tv to let us know how you think we're doing, but also to give us any ideas or things that are happening in your neck of the woods that may be good to have a national spotlight put on as we continue to cover common sense stories here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to the most wealthy man on earth, Elon Musk in Wisconsin.
Thanks for coming. What do you think of my hat? All right, I'm gonna sign the hat and I'm gonna throw it out. All right, I love you guys too. Thank you for coming out in support of this very important Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. It's actually something that I think it's one of those things that may seem like it's obviously important in the state of Wisconsin, but I think it could actually be important for the country as well, and maybe for the world. So the House majority right now is razor thin. It's really just a few seats, and if the Supreme Court is able to redraw the districts, they will gerrymander the districts and deprive Wisconsin of 2 House seats on the Republican side. Yeah, exactly. The result of that could be that the House switches to a Democratic House. Yes, indeed. And then they will try to stop all of the government reforms that we're doing, and we're getting done for you, the American people. So So the reforms that we're getting done, thanks to President Trump and his great team, are really profound. Really, the goal is very simple. It's to restore merit and freedom. So that's what it comes down to. So America is the land of freedom and opportunity. So we want to restore individual freedoms, freedom of speech, just in general, get the government off your back. And then make sure that you succeed in the United States as a function of your hard work and your talent, and nothing else. So these are really noble and important principles, and I'll talk more about this, all night really, as long as you guys want to hear about it. As you may have seen with stuff that we've posted on the Doge.gov website and the Doge handle on the X platform, there is a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the federal government. Like, shocking, really. It's insane. Yeah, it's really wild. So, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George from me. USA, USA. USA! 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 Yep. It was inevitable. I was waiting for that one. So, yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys. Isn't it shocking how much violence and hatred is coming from the left? Isn't it supposed to be the party that they claim to be the party of empathy, and yet they're burning Teslas and shooting up dealerships and calling for the death of the president and me? I'm like, guys, this is insane. Like, they're gone psycho. It's really like I totally understand if somebody doesn't want to buy a product. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a free country, but you don't have to burn it down. Okay, but much. That's somebody else's car. Leave it alone. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so, man, the derangement level on the left is just like, it's blown my mind, frankly. I'm like, what is going on? They've just lost it next level. I'm like, it's like, whoa. And I sort of wonder what's, the legacy media is in part to blame for this, and maybe primarily to blame for this, because, it's really terrible. It's like, if they keep calling, they've obviously called President Trump every name in the book. I think there was one article that called the president worse than Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin combined. And I'm like, actually, President Trump's not killed anyone. In fact, he's very good at stopping wars, not starting them. So, we're really very different. Maybe we need to add some more history lessons back in schools. Because I don't know if people understand, what the difference. Do they know what Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin did? It seems they don't. It's just indicative of the poor quality of education pushed by the National Department of Education. So, that's why we want to restore freedom to the states, let the states decide on the educational agenda and not have something pushed by a bunch of neo-Marxists in D.C. So, it is astounding how much anti-American propaganda is pushed on kids today in schools. It's mind-blowing. And it's like, what the hell's going on, you know? So anyway, but on a more positive note, we have this petition, sort of against activist judges, because judges should be simply interpreting the law, not making the law. So, in appreciation for the support of people in signing this petition against activist judges, we just want judges to be judges, which is a reasonable thing to ask for. We're obviously seeing like some crazy stuff in D.C. where it seems like it's like any federal judge can stop any action by the president of the United States. This is insane. Like this has got to stop. It's got to stop at the federal level and at the state level. But let me first hand out 2 $1 million checks in appreciation. Okay, so the first check goes to Nicholas Jacobs. All right. Now, I should say that the reason, the reason for the checks is that it's really just to get attention. It's like we need to get attention, and it's somewhat inevitably when I do these things, the sort of it causes the legacy media to like kind of lose their minds. And then they'll run it on every news channel, and I'm like, I couldn't pay them it would cost like 10 times more, or to get the kind of coverage that we get. So, all right. All right, you can just, I guess, take it if you want. I think we'll get you a real one too. So, and then the second one is to Ekaterina Diesler. Let's see, hopefully here. So, well, and like I said, this is just helpful for getting attention, and then like it's kind of fun to see the legacy media lose their minds over it too. So, love you too. So, yeah. So, let's see. Hello. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. All right, congratulations. So, all right, so we're also going to be announcing, or we are announcing now, a program, sort of a Get Out the Vote program. That's the webpage should be going live, I think around now, which is at the America PAC website, or just go to the America PAC X account. And the single biggest challenge, I think, is actually just making people aware that there is this very important election. And there's both the very important election for Judge Schimmel, as well as the deciding on adding voter ID to the Wisconsin Constitution, which is very, very important. So it's quite shocking that I mean, you can sort of tell where voter fraud is happening, where they ban ID, Like, why would you ban ID? Like, in New York and California, it's, like, illegal to show ID at an election. Well, I can't imagine why that would be the case. So, So two really important things is really just ensure judicial integrity on Tuesday, and then the voter ID thing, and you know, it's April Fool's Day, and it's like, I think most people aren't aware, like I said, most people aren't aware that there is this important election. Most people don't even know that there's an election at all, or if they do, they aren't sure exactly when and where it is, and they aren't sure yet or they don't realize just how important it is. They think it's just, you know, some kind of judicial thing that's not that important. But it actually, what's happening on Tuesday is a vote for which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives. That is why it is so significant. And whichever party controls the House, you know, it to a significant degree controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization. So it's like, I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will. No pressure. Yeah. So, it's a super big deal, and the fact that I'm here in person, like, I'm not phoning it in. I'm here in person. Yeah. So. And there were quite a few death threats, I have to tell you. I was like, my security team said, well, it's actually gone down from yesterday to today. It went down from 18,000 to 17,000. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's getting better, you know? But you can see, like, how crazy some of these people are. You know, look at the two sort of people that tried to assassinate President Trump. You know, I mean, that was, and one, you know, they both almost succeeded. So it's real. Like, it's not like some imaginary thing. So anyway, so what we're announcing is kind of like a block captain program where somebody can sign up to knock on doors in their zip code and encourage people to make people aware that there is a vote, and then aware of how important the vote is. So you can sign up to be kind of a block captain for your zip code on the America PAC website right now. Yeah, and if you do, it's like basically $20 for just taking a photo with somebody. It's pretty straightforward. You just knock on doors in your neighborhood, and give them either a digital or a paper, you know, picture of, you know, Justice Brad Schimmel. It can be an approximation. It doesn't have to be exact, but. And they just have to say thumbs up and hold a picture of Judge Schimmel, and that's it. And you get $20. It's pretty easy. It's easy money. So, but the whole point of it is just to make people aware of the election, and say that there is an election. It's on Tuesday, and it's super important. Please vote. So. But I think without something like this, we actually are in serious danger of losing the election. This is very important to put in mind. If you look at the betting market odds, so if you look at sort of the Poly market or Kalshi, like the betting markets, it varies between 85% and 90% probability of loss for Justice Schimmel. That's the current situation. So we got to pull a rabbit out of the hat next level. We're actually going to have a steady stream of rabbits out of the hat, like it's an arc of rabbits flying through the air and landing in a voting booth. Interesting picture. Grok could probably make that picture. That's basically what's needed. We need to generate an anomaly in the matrix, and because I think there's currently the Dems are 100,000 votes ahead. But if the people that voted for President Trump simply vote on Tuesday, we will win. That's actually all it takes. Just vote. Boom, done. Victory. So.
The great patriot himself, Elon Musk, speaking in Wisconsin to a number of supporters. And, you know, we're seeing so many wins with Doge. We're seeing so many wins with the president right now. Great to monitor it here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. That speech from just over the weekend, you can see that, of course, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. A shout out to the America PAC for that video. But in the meantime, as you take a live look at the White House, it's the bottom of the hour, about 11:30, Monday, March 31st. Hope you had a great weekend as we gear up for another week in Washington, D.C. and beyond the Beltway, as well as we cover various stories around the country. Special hello to all of you watching throughout this nation. You know, being able to stream in and watch Right Side from wherever you're watching, including Rumble, it's quite awesome. You think about all of those rallies we covered over the years since 2015. I was reminiscing a little bit yesterday and looked at the Michigan rally from Grand Rapids just a week after the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, and everyone still showed up, full support for President Trump. It was loud, it was great, it was outside of this arena that I saw the whole line, and then when we went inside, it was just electric. And it's the same president, it's the same momentum, just in a different form in the sense of not rallies all the time, but that's what all the rallies were, to understand what the campaign promises were, to hear the speeches, to enjoy the speeches, and now here we are with the actions speaking louder than the words. Speaking of actions, executive orders signed today at 1 o'clock and 5:30 at the White House. We'll have our coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. I believe the 5:30 executive order signings will be live. So RSBN host Robert McNeely will be in studio at that time covering whatever the executive orders are. And on top of that, probably we'll be able to replay the 1 o'clock recorded executive orders. So we'll see all of them signed today. And then on top of that, we are just 48 hours away from Liberation Day in America, April 2nd. It's all about evening up when it comes to trade and tariffs and us not being used as a piggy bank any longer. Just basically evening it all up, all for our country, America first. And some other nation's leaders, or even some of the Democrats, and a few people might be up in arms about certain tariffs. But at the end of the day, President Trump, we know, has been not only a naturally gifted business person, so is the great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. This is about making our country wealthy again. These are all the promises that President Trump made on that campaign trail. There are a lot of wins happening. The White House just sent out a 10-week wins kind of accomplishment list. We can go over some of that in just a bit. Before we do, let's go to that MAGA Minute with the great Caroline Leavitt, who, in fact, we may hear sometime this week or next week. There's a report out at Axios saying that the seating chart inside the White House press briefing room might be changed around a bit, which would be kind of cool to see conservative media, new media, taking the place of where the establishment media has sat for decades. It's not out of disrespect to those networks. It's the White House Correspondents Association, who is a left-wing organization led by left-wingers. And so they all got together and said, well, let's have these seating charts and let's all work together and hold them accountable. How about all you did was spew false narratives for several decades, and now the country's on to you? So please stop lying. Simple as that. Just cover honestly and fairly what's going on. That's what we're doing here at the network. We're not seeing anything bad happen. President Trump's not doing something bad. He's doing good things. Common sense. Anyway, let's go to that MAGA Minute with Caroline Leavitt. As soon as that video is ready, we'll go to that, as it's the bottom of the hour here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to that MAGA Minute right now.
Hey guys, it's a beautiful day here at the White House, and it's been another great week. Let's go through all of the historic actions that President Trump took this week to help you, the American people. Companies like Hyundai, Rolls-Royce, and Schneider Electric announced billions of dollars in new investments into the United States to create jobs for hardworking Americans. The president signed a proclamation levying 25% tariffs on foreign automobile imports, encouraging companies to build vehicles right here in the United States of America. The White House recognized the bravery and service of Medal of Honor recipients in the White House on Medal of Honor Day. The president welcomed some of the country's strongest and most intelligent women to the White House to celebrate Women's History Month. And the president signed an executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful once again. And the Trump administration executed a very successful operation to apprehend a top MS-13 ringleader just 30 minutes outside of our nation's capital. Every day, because of this president, America is safer. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
A lot more smiles with this White House than the last one, and great to see that, even though we won the last go-around as well. So anyway, it's 11:32, Monday, March 31st, here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for streaming in on the last day of March, getting ready for April, just around the corner, and of course, April 2nd, Liberation Day, here in our country, and we're looking forward to seeing the wins continue here in this nation. Let's shift gears now to more winning. The Secretary of Defense, the DOD, the Pentagon, when it comes to the southern border as well. I mean, the fact that we have our military boots on the ground in our own country, on our side of the border, doing some great things, of course. Let's go to an update from the SecDef spokesperson, Sean Parnell. Take a listen.
Hello from Japan, and welcome to the DoD's weekly sit rep. While out of touch, DC Beltway journalists spent their week focused on anonymously sourced sensationalized stories. The secretary got to work and spent his week traveling across the Indo-Pacific to meet with the troops and our allies.
All right, so that from Sean Parnell. We just played that video there, of course, as we see a number of these chief spokespeople posting on various outlets out there, whether it's X or Truth Social, and we're able to replay some of that there. Glad we could read some of what he was saying there. Okay, I'm hearing the producer talk to me right now, so we're going to shift over to El Salvador at this point. Let's go to a video recently posted from the president of El Salvador as MS-13, and Tren de Aragua are getting captured, 17 of them. Let's go to that video as well. Obviously a few technical difficulties right now, but we'll fly with it here at 11:35 Eastern Time, Monday, March 31st. As we're taking a live look at the White House, a little bit later today, executive orders being signed by President Trump at 1 o'clock and 5:30. I hear we do have that El Salvador video ready. Let's go to that. So the president of El Salvador, Bukele, posting that just recently on X for us to see what's happening to people that are in our country illegally, but also criminals related to these gangs being sent to the prison there in El Salvador. We saw Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, standing outside of one of those prisons the other day. Actually, she was inside, but behind bars were a number of the gang members that were arrested. So we're really seeing a very truthful and transparent administration here with what's happening out there. So that's what we are reflecting as well here at this network. Transparency, showing you what's going on out there. And if you know what, if a video doesn't play at the right time, we roll with it, because this is constant live TV here at the network. No teleprompters, not a lot of scripts at all, just some notes as we continue to share with you sometimes our opinion, but it's based in the same stuff you've heard from us over the years at Right Side. And also, we have all of those live feeds that we get from the White House, the Pentagon, and the State Department, and beyond Washington, D.C. as well. And then again, later today, we'll see the president at the Oval Office signing a number of executive orders. We'll have that coverage here for you live. All of this brought to you by a number of great sponsors. So we're going to go over 4 sponsors real quick here. Colonial Metals Group is one of them. Colonial Metals Group, you can go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN for more information on a tax-sheltered IRA, 401k, all backed in gold and silver. So when it comes to those BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they want to use their own currency instead of our currency. Well, things can make it financially unstable there. So what you need is something like gold and silver to help with the backup plan for your retirement or your savings. You can get that by going to freegoldguide.com/RSBN. All this as Maganomics continues to increase in our country. All right, let's go to angelpaste.com out of Spring, Texas, of course, angelpaste.com. You can use the RSBN promo code. You'll get quite the discount off there. You'll see the Miracle Cream on your screen, but also there's other products as well. So angelpaste.com, you go to the RSBN promo code, will give you that great percentage off. Let's also go to Lean. Lean is a great sponsor, and also it's all about yo-yo dieting. Hopefully you're not one of those yo-yo dieters. I know that I can be sometimes, but at the end of the day, this diet supplement right here that you see, go to takelean.com for more information, helping along the way of getting back to being healthy or making America healthy again. You can definitely get that through Lean. So we know that breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is a main reason doctors, of course, created Lean. Lean is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription. So if you go to lean.com, you can get 20% off with the RSBN promo code. So takelean.com, use the RSBN promo code. And our final sponsor for the day is MyPillow. Of course, mypillow.com/RSBN. I believe it's still the spring sheet sale. And we'll show you that as soon as we get it up on the screen. And we know that there's up to 50% off each of the products, more than 2,000 products there at mypillow.com. So great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, as it's 11:40 Monday, March 31st. All right, so there's a number of videos, for those of you that just joined us right now, that we played at the very beginning of the broadcast, which was about 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's go to it again. For those of you watching a lot of March Madness basketball, the White House put out a video just the other day. We're just going to play that again real quick here as soon as I know that it's ready, and then we'll get back into some more of the news that we're following, including the Week 10 wins that has just been sent out by the White House. We'll get to that in just a second. So let's go again to this great March Madness video brought to you by the White House.
It's that time of year. The stakes are high.
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change.
The pressure, unmatched. And only the strongest will rise to the top.
Americans have always been the people who defied all odds and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom.
Some will fold under the pressure, but champions thrive in the madness.
Our country will be woke no longer.
This isn't just any competition. This is March. This is madness. And in this house, every play counts.
Our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed.
There's no second chance, no timeouts.
America Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation.
Only the drive to win. And when the buzzer sounds, history will remember who backed down and who stepped up.
America is back.
So we see the common sense winning in Washington continuing on as this is day 70 of President Trump's second term. So there's nothing wrong with the winning, right? It feels good to win. It's great to see a lot of things happening in every aspect of the executive branch and all of the cabinet positions, seeing all of the great things happening throughout our country. So what the thing is, though, is, still realizing that we still have to be vigilant. We still have to say, all right, well, we're hoping for the best, but we got to prepare for the worst in some ways. So as we continue to win, we still stay vigilant out there. We want to see our country be united. We want to see our country have that peace through strength and all that. But we do see that there are still a few of those radical, extreme leftists that always try and take over and get some of the narrative or take and get some of the headlines. Well, that's what they've been using the mainstream media for decades. Those headlines just to divert the attention from the winning that's happening at the White House. It's very simple, but it's been a leftist play and ideology that's been happening for a long time. So what do? We turn on conservative media. We get rid of the mainstream media in the sense of, by getting rid of them, I just mean not watching them, not reading them, not clicking on any of their junk. Why would we want to be around that anymore? Sure, we could hear what they say, but what is that going to do any good for our country and really the direction of the American people? We heard it said, winning minds and hearts. Well, this is actually winning minds and hearts to freedom, to common sense, to greatness, to winning. And what the left-wing media wants to do is to make us confused, make us weak, make it chaotic, destroy us. That's why I barely look at the left wing anymore. I used to have a cable outlet thing where cable streaming that I could watch all the different networks, and I don't anymore. And it feels kind of good. It's liberating. And speaking of liberating, coming up Liberation Day in America on Wednesday, April 2nd. Looking forward to that coverage here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, let's shift over to Byron Donalds once again. If you didn't catch this, he had a great speech on Friday night as he had an official kickoff for governor of Florida, as Ron DeSantis' term will be ending next year. But Ron DeSantis doing great things right now in Florida, including this morning speaking about eliminating the property tax this morning. We'll get to that soundbite after Byron Donalds' speech from Friday night. And if there's any breaking news or any other information we get, even during this replay of the speech from Friday, we'll be right back here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. So let's go to Byron Donalds.
Good evening, Florida. Good evening, Bonita Springs. If you've never been to the Sugar Shack, let me tell you that this place is packed. It is packed with people who are ready to fight for the future of Florida, to take our state to the highest heights possible. As I look out, I see family, friends, leaders of Southwest Florida, but more than that, I see the heart of Florida. I see workers, parents, believers, builders, and I'm humbled to stand with all of you today. I had an opportunity to see a couple of my colleagues who I just love. My guy, Corey Mills, out of Central Florida. I love you, brother. I love you. And listen, the only reason I wasn't wearing shades tonight because, they kind of put my name up on all the stuff, but Kat Kamek, my ride or die, my big sister, love you, Kat. You're amazing. I love you. For the protesters across the street, because they don't sound very good. Let me introduce myself not only to them, but to the people of our great state. My name is Byron Donalds. And I'm running to be your next governor. I'm doing this simply because I actually believe in all of you. I believe in us as a state, and I believe that Florida will continue to be the very best state in America. For those who don't know my story, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised, Brooklyn's always in the house, and raised by a single mom. Like most single moms, my mom is tough. She taught me the value of hard work. There were no excuses. She believed in my potential and was a school choice mom before school choice was a thing. We didn't have much, but my mom made sure that what we lacked would not hold me back. My mother set me on a path to success, a path I could never repay her for. Mom, thank you. I could never repay you. Thank you. At 17, I left New York on a Greyhound bus and I came to Florida for opportunity. I went to FAMU in Florida State, earned a degree, go Noles, earned a degree in finance and marketing from Florida State University. I moved to Naples in 2003 and built a career in banking, insurance, and financial services. I'm a husband to my incredible wife, Erica. Stand up, Erica. Everybody loves you. Stand up, Erica. The next First Lady of Florida, everybody. I'm a dad to 3 boys. And I'm a man of faith who knows where my strength lies. I served in the Florida House. I fought in Congress. And now I'm here for you because Florida is my home and you are my people. Florida is the best state in America. The best. Although we're the best state, your insurance bills are still rising. Traffic jams waste your time. And our kids deserve more. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to act. My plan for Florida is bold and clear. Fix the insurance crisis. Build new roads. Finish restoring the Everglades. Make Florida the financial capital of the world. I like that one. And ensure our kids master math, reading, writing, and reasoning. First Insurance. I worked 17 years in the financial industry. I get the problems. Homeowners, you're hurting. Premiums are climbing. Companies flee after storms, and families are stuck. It's not right. And as governor, I will fix it. We will focus on making sure Florida has an insurance market that works for everyone. We will find targeted solutions that will stabilize costs for the people of Florida. I will bring in more insurers to compete, giving you real choices. Florida is too great to be priced out. We'll make insurance affordable again. Second, traffic. I've driven these roads, from Miami's gridlock to Orlando's backups, and even here in Southwest Florida, I-75. You guys know that turn right after you get past the Bonita Springs exit slows down? Yeah, I know that. I know that turn too. Frustrates me too. It's not just annoying, it's slowing us all down. As governor, I will build new roads, smart, modern roads, where they're needed most. We'll widen highways, add lanes, and cut through delays that hold projects back. I'll team up with private companies to move fast and save your money. Florida's growing. Our roads should keep pace, not drag us down. Third, the Everglades. This is our treasure, key to our water, our wildlife, and our identity. We've started restoring it. A lot of great work has been done, but there's still work that's left. As governor, I'll finish it. We will finish the projects to repair the Everglades once and for all. We will restore the natural flow and protect our farmers and fishermen caught in this mess. The Everglades is Florida's legacy, and we're saving it for the next generation. Fourth, let's make Florida the financial capital of the world. Now, I got some know-how about this. First of all, New York is faltering, and it's really their own fault because their government's a mess. But New York is faltering. High taxes, tough rules, businesses are leaving. Florida's ready. Low taxes, light regulations, and a workforce eager to win. Bitcoin will be a part of the state's portfolio. We will cut the commercial lease tax, ease rules, and lead in blockchain and crypto. Florida will create a business court so it becomes easier to settle corporate disputes. Picture it, wealth flowing through our state, lifting every community. Expanding Florida's economy means going from the traditional three-legged stool of agriculture, construction, and tourism to a diverse economy that brings more high-paying jobs today, but the jobs we need for Florida's future. Now, number 5 is education. Our kids are our future, but too many are slipping through the cracks. I'm raising 3 sons. This is personal for me. In 2019, when I was in the State House, I passed the Hope Scholarship, which at the time was the largest expansion of school choice in the country. A year later, we passed universal scholarship accounts. School choice is now a way of life in Florida, and I was there to make sure that it happened. In Florida, parents are at the front of the line, not the bureaucrats. So what's next? Florida is near the top in America when it comes to K-12 education. But America is number 37 in the world. So if you are at the top when our nation is close to the bottom, we have more work to do. As governor, my mission is to move Florida from the top 10 in America to the top 10 in the world. President Trump is doing his part by shutting down the Department of Education and moving education to the states. My administration will zero in on what counts: proficiency in math, reading, writing, and reasoning. Every child should solve equations, read with understanding, write clearly, and think sharply. We will revamp curriculums and provide our kids with every tool that moves them towards mastery in education. Our kids deserve mastery, not mediocrity. Children who are proficient in core subjects are the future leaders America needs. The future entrepreneurs our economy desires. And the future citizens that will keep America and Florida the envy of the world. So that's my vision for Florida's future. I can be this bold about our future because we are building on a great foundation left to us by Governor Rick Scott and Governor Ron DeSantis. We have a great foundation, but we got some other things we got to figure out, like taxes. As Floridians, you should benefit from our growing tax base. Whether it's property taxes, sales taxes, or the commercial rent tax, I've been clear that I will reduce taxes on my fellow Floridians and their businesses. I will work in cooperation with the legislature to ensure that Florida's residents and businesses get the tax breaks that they deserve. Let's talk about safety. And before we get there, we have some of Lee County's finest here with us this evening. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much. We are the safest state in the country. We are the safest. Our sheriffs and our governor have done a tremendous job keeping our communities safe. As your next governor, I will continue to back the blue. Law enforcement will continue to be honored and respected in Florida. We will continue to lock up criminals. And we will continue to work with President Trump and his administration to remove illegal aliens from Florida. We will continue to be a law and order state. But let's talk about the thing that everybody loves about our state, freedom. I'm a conservative. In 2017, as a freshman legislator, I passed the first bill of its kind that allowed parents to have full access to the instructional materials in their child's school. The Democrats, unions, and bureaucrats fought me, but I stood for parental rights, and that bill was the beginning of getting woke indoctrination out of our schools. In 2018, I voted against red flag laws and taking away the gun rights of people between the ages of 18 and 21. And let me explain a little bit about that. At that time in the legislature, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas just happened. It was a tragedy in our state. It was a tragedy. I was told that if I did not vote for that bill, I was going to lose appropriations. All my bills will be canceled. But I didn't care, because constitutional rights are never up for discussion. In 2020, when COVID was shutting down the country, I was running to represent Southwest Florida in Congress. I went to every city council and every county commission meeting and opposed mask mandates. You know, at the time, some people told me that this stance would cost me the Republican nomination for Congress. But once again, I didn't care. I stood for medical freedom of the people of Southwest Florida. And by the way, I did win that race for Congress. I have proven time and again that I will defend your Congress against any threat. This is the free state of Florida. And as your next governor, it will remain the free state of Florida. This campaign, brother, love Miami-Dade. This campaign is about you, the people of Florida. It's about the dad and son stretched thin by insurance. In Miami, stuck in traffic. It's about the retired in Southwest Florida just wanting clean water. It's about the teacher in Jacksonville hoping her students thrive. You are the reason why I'm running. I fought for you in the State House, I fought for you in Congress, and I will fight for you as your next governor. The first political event I ever went to was a Tea Party rally in Naples, Florida. By the way, where is Diane Harris?
Oh,
I know she's in here, so where is she? Diane, come here. Come here, Diane.
Hey,
hold on a second. Come here, Diane. Let me restart. The first political event I ever went to was a Tea Party rally in Naples, Florida. And if you don't believe me, this is the lady I met.
Okay, so this is new. Okay, I don't usually do this ever, but when I met Byron, I ended up having him at a meet and greet, which I didn't really know much about that. But anyways, he ended up, I got 20 people in the house, and we're in the back, you know, waiting for me to introduce him. And anyways, he's like, don't worry, I've been going to Toastmasters, and the key thing is you just speak from your heart. And so I spoke from my heart, and my heart is overwhelmingly proud of this man. He has taught me so much, and a lot of it has had to do with his faith. So there's no question, he speaks of his faith first. I mean, it's the same thing with President Trump. There's a reason why we are where we are today. It's for people like Byron to rise. And also on top of that, President Trump is bringing up the younger generation. And that's what's going to save us, is solid, smart, common sense, faithful, proud, and who love everybody. He's for Florida. And I just love you, and I'm so proud of you, and I've really enjoyed being a part of your journey from the beginning, because it really did mean everything. I mean, taking those signs and knocking on the doors and sweating our butts off together, you know, and it's raining. And I've spoken to people here today who have their first experience with you. And their first experience, one gentleman said, it was 9 p.m. at night, and it's raining, it's thundering, and this guy comes by his door and knocks, and he's like, not sure who he is. And eventually Byron says, well, do you know Byron Donalds? And the guy's like, no. And he goes, well, now you do, I'm right here. And so he had like a 20-minute conversation, and then he invited him into his home. And throughout all the time that we've been on campaigns with Byron, it's those experiences, and he never forgets you. He'll never forget his conversation with any of you. He is the man for Florida. He is going to be the greatest governor, and of course, eventually he will be president. So. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you, and I'm so thrilled for you. Mwah.
That's a really cool endorsement. My first event was 16 years ago, and I gotta tell you, 16 years later, I never thought I would be here. I started in politics as an activist. I became a legislator, fighting for school choice and protecting your constitutional rights. I went to Congress where I battled the Democrats on Capitol Hill and the radical media on their networks. Over the last 2 years, I was campaigning for the America First agenda because that's where the fight was. I knew Florida was red. Everybody knew Florida was red. You guys took care of that one. But I was all over the country in every battleground state because we had to win the most consequential presidential election of our lifetimes. So the fight took me to battleground states to make sure that Donald J. Trump became the 47th president of the United States. Along the way, President Trump and I developed a strong friendship. He watched me battle the left, take on all comers, and help him make America great again. President Trump has endorsed me to be the next governor of Florida. And he's endorsed me because he knows I will lead with courage, conviction, and common sense. And that's what our state needs to remain the blueprint for what is possible in America. As your next governor, I'll fix what's broken while building on what makes Florida the best state in America. To win this campaign, I'm asking for your vote. But more importantly, like Diane, I'm asking for your endorsement. Florida, Florida is a big state, and with your support, we're gonna fix our insurance markets. We're gonna fix our transportation issues. We're gonna finish repairing the Everglades. We are going to make Florida the financial capital of the world. And we are gonna position our future, our children, on the pathway to be the leaders Florida and America needs. Together, we will get this done. Together, Florida will continue to be the best state in America and show the other 49 how to get the job done. God bless you. God bless Florida. And God bless the United States of America.
Okay, that was from Friday night, of course. The endorsement from President Trump for Byron Donalds happened, of course, on Truth Social, on X some time ago. That was his official kickoff campaign rally for Governor Byron Donalds, of course. We'll see how everything transpires over the next year as Ron DeSantis' term ends at the end of next year. Officially, his last day, though, would be January in 2027. Ron DeSantis today speaking to people about the proposal for the elimination of property taxes. So a lot of good things happening in Florida, and having someone like Byron Donalds may be a great thing as well. Of course, a Trump-endorsed candidate for that gubernatorial position. All right, so it's 12:11 Eastern Time. Let's go to a number of great sponsors. Colonial Metals Group, freegoldguide.com/RSBN, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. when it comes to looking for a hedge against inflation and having your retirement or your savings with gold and silver as a backup plan, you can learn more information about that. freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Let's shift over to AngelPace now, angelpace.com. You can use the RSBN promo code for a percentage off. There's a number of great products there. This is out of Spring, Texas. They also hire military veterans, which is awesome. And it's great to have a great product right here on right side as well, angelpace.com. Let's go now to lean. If you're a yo-yo dieter, you'll diet, you lose weight, but gain it all back, of course, plus a few extra pounds. But there is a supplement right there, the dietary supplement called Lean. So takelean.com. This is something to go right along with healthy eating, and some diet and exercise will help you get to where you need to be when it comes to being physically fit. I know I have to do a lot more as well, trust me. But takelean.com would be great to do as well, to have that dietary supplement. So go to takelean.com. You can get 20% off when you use that RSBN promo code. Speaking of RSBN promo codes, it goes a long way as well for mypillow.com/RSBN. So you get up to 50% off of more than 2,000 products right there. mypillow.com/RSBN. Great sponsors here at this network. Without our sponsors and without donations from viewers, we would not be able to cover what we do these days, which is a lot more of coverage from the White House and from outside the Beltway as well. Later today, the president will be signing executive orders at 1 o'clock Eastern, and most likely at 5:30, that one will be live, the executive orders signed. So two executive orders, 2 moments for executive orders to be signed from the Oval Office later today. So we'll be having that coverage right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, we're going to bring you up to speed on a couple things that we saw from this morning along the southern border. We know that the chief of the Border Patrol, Michael Banks, posted something today. The fact that on 3/27, U.S. BP agents were conducting routine train checks in Uvalde, Texas, when they found an unexpected passenger. You see the person there on your screen. He's a Honduran national with a felony conviction for a second-degree murder in North Carolina. The individual was sentenced to 171 months confinement and removed in 2020. Well, he now faces prosecution for felony illegal re-entry. An example of why train checks are important. That's the chief of the Border Patrol, Michael Banks. So at every level, we're seeing the southern border getting taken care of, including with ICE and our border czar, Tom Homan, and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and Secretary of DHS, Kristi Noem. Everybody's working together to rid our country of people, especially when it comes to illegal aliens, especially that have committed crimes. Now, recently, I interviewed an Army Brigadier General, Joseph Escandon, and he talked to us about the southern border mission. He gave us the latest on some of the U.S. Army strikers that you see down there now. This is a great show of force, but it's also helping the Customs, Border, and Protection agents as everyone works together to take care of that number one promise from the 20 core promises from the RNC over the summer, last summer, was to seal the border. And we're seeing it sealed. We're also seeing the wall get completed. I mean, these are great promises made, promises kept. Of course, that was the signature of the first administration. We're seeing that come through on the second administration, and we're monitoring all of the core promises and all of the wins that are happening here at the network. And of course, we want to see the information that the American public wants to see as well, because we're part of you guys. We aren't high and mighty as some on the left would act, as if you are beneath them, and they will tell you what the news is of the day. We're working together on this thing, and we are all about common sense, and we the people here at this network. So let's get that southern border mission interview. As soon as we get that ready, we'll go to that. In the meantime, again, if you remember, Anna Paulina Luna, the great representative from Florida, talking about this declassification task force for government secrets. So everything about anything when it comes to the RFK, JFK assassination files have already been released. MLK, we're looking at 9/11, COVID, Epstein files, all of these things that Representative Anna Paulina Luna said that would be part of this declassification task force. As we see any of that released, we will, of course, bring that to you here at the network. I know there's a lot of places you can find news and all that, but at the end of the day, the heart of the matter is you and I and all of us are on the side of we the people. We just love our country, love our God, love our family, and love our freedom here. And we're so thankful to have you as a viewer here and turning off mainstream media, coming over to conservative media. We know there's other outlets out there. We're basically all on the same team going in the right direction. So let's go to that interview. U.S. Army Brigadier General Southern Border Mission. I'm Matthew Alvarez. It's 12:17. We'll see you in a minute. Joining us now is U.S. Army Brigadier General Joseph Descondone. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Great to take the time to talk with you about this mission.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people looking at this southern border mission. I see a lot of the videos from the DOD. We're seeing great things. You know, a lot of people like what they see down there. Can you give us an update on the southern border mission?
Well, I think probably the best place to start is Joint Task Force Southern Border. Was established, just only a few weeks ago. 10th Mountain Division is the core, the CORE of the Joint Task Force. So we deployed down here in February to Fort Huachuca. We established, basically command and control, and then we started bringing in a number of force elements from across the Army, the Marine Corps, and other services here to form the JTF. And once we got our headquarters established, then we began to realign forces along the border. And again, we've got more forces in than we had previously. And we've aligned those forces throughout California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and in alignment with the 9 border patrol sectors that encompass the border. And so that alignment, or that force alignment, is now pretty much complete. And we are fully engaged in our primary mission, which is to support the Border Patrol, primarily with detection and monitoring capabilities, but also other key tasks that enable them to do their mission.
Exactly. So what I've been seeing with some of the videos and photos there, between, I believe it's the U.S. Army and the Marines, putting up the metal wiring, shoring up that border there, but also the patrols that we're seeing on foot, but now with some of the other military vehicles. Can you talk to us a little bit about that process that I believe just started on March 20th?
Yes, absolutely. So to the first point, I think some of the first force elements that you saw in here were the U.S. Marines, known as Task Force Sapper in California, in the San Diego area or south of there. That is one of the tasks that we have associated with supporting the Border Patrol, and that is providing some general engineering. So what you're seeing is you are seeing them basically strengthen the border wall or fence with concertina wire, so that obviously folks can't get through there and pass through into the United States illegally. So that has been I think a great value to the Border Patrol. And in terms of the patrolling, you noted that we just started doing that. Our primary mission, again, is to help the Border Patrol with their detection and monitoring effort. That is one of the ways that we can do that. And really, that also helps or enables the Border Patrol to kind of come off of some of the duties that are support in nature, and gets them out doing their mission, which is the law enforcement aspect of what they do.
A lot of people, again, are supporting, of course, the work that the military is doing down there. What is it like to be a part of the United States military and doing something that we, the people, the majority of this country, voted for, and voting for President Trump to really stop the illegal influx of illegal aliens, fentanyl, drugs, and other crimes?
Well, regardless of what the actual mission may be, at least over the span of my career, it's always great to be associated with a mission that is aimed at helping secure our national defense, helping to protect American citizens. And so it's it's an exciting time to be part of this mission, especially as again, we've put quite a bit of large force on the border in order to help enable the Border Patrol. So it's exciting, and I think all the soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors that are here are excited to do it as well.
It seems as if, too, just seeing military in uniform on the United States side of the border is a massive, massive deterrent to anybody even trying to cross. And then on top of that, possibly the drug cartels. They're probably backing off, a bit concerned right now. I mean, would you agree?
Well, I would say that, it's probably been quite a while, at least, going back maybe 100 years or so since we've had this much military force arrayed along the border. And obviously we have seen some benefits or some effects from that. I think there's no doubt about that. But I don't want to discount what our forces have been doing. Before JTF Southern Border came in. We did have forces along the border. I think over the last 23 years, 19 of those, we've had U.S. military forces helping to secure the border in support of the Border Patrol. But I do think, yes, we have seen some positive effects from our mission, and we're going to continue to make adjustments in order to help the security.
Also, with the border wall, do you know any details about the reconstruction or the construction of President Trump's wall that he said he wants the whole thing to be finished? Do you know details about that?
Yeah, I would defer any of those questions to Department of Homeland Security or Department of Defense. I think they're probably better postured to answer what the future plans are for that. Right now our mission is just, again, to help strengthen the border wall that is here, and that's largely through an engineering effort.
And finally, sir, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for your service to our country. Again, we the people are on the team of the military because you guys are protecting us, especially at that southern border right now. But when it comes to the U.S. Army strikers that we've seen, through some of the DoD video out there, that's a little bit more of a show of force that, the Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, initiated just a few days ago. Is that something that, in general, is something a move to make just to have a deterrent for people to come across the border? Or is that just a new move happening right now?
Well, I think the Stryker Brigade Combat Team that deployed down here provides us an incredible, capability. They bring the Stryker vehicle, as well as other vehicles like the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle. The Stryker platform provides us a level of mobility to move forces around. Again, we can move those forces to certain areas where we see we may need to help improve the security along the border, and that also again enables the Border Patrol enables their mission, helps them move into sectors that they need to focus on as well. So it's a great mobility platform, as is any vehicle that we would bring down here, not just Strykers. Additionally, the Strykers have some great sensors on them, optical sensors, which help enable and enhance what the Border Patrol already has through their mobile sensor capabilities.
What is it like to see that the U.S. Army is there, the Marines, you're seeing the Navy out in the waters with various flights, tracking, what's going on the southern border, the U.S. Coast Guard and on top of Customs and Border Protection and ICE and everybody. I mean, this is a full team effort. What is that like to be a part of that, sir?
Well, it's great. And of course, like I said, it's great to be part of any mission, when your country calls, to deploy to wherever you're going to deploy to, and to get the job done that your country is asking you to do. It's especially special, not the best phrasing there, when you're doing that as part of a joint team with sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, as well as the interagency. Over the last several weeks that we've been here, we've really formed some incredible bonds with the Border Patrol. And I think we are seeing the effects. The capabilities that we bring have just really enhanced their ability to do their mission. And it's a great partnership.
Yeah, and I'm sure the agents are so glad to see the people on the same team, in the military down there helping them out, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. United States Army Brigadier General Joseph Escandón, thank you so much again for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay, meantime, at the bottom of the hour here on Monday, March 31st, the White House put out the list of Week 10 wins. We're going to go over a few of those, and then we'll be getting ready to close up this first broadcast. The next broadcast a bit later today, we'll have the executive orders from President Trump. He's going to be signing some at 1 o'clock Eastern and also at 5:30 Eastern. The 5:30 Eastern looks like that will be a live feed into the Oval Office there as he's signing executive orders. The 1 o'clock looks like it's going to be a recorded feed. So we'll still be able to upload that to Rumble and various places that you watch here at Right Side. And also RSBN's Robert McNeely will be here in studio a bit later to bring that coverage to you live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. But for the next few minutes, let's go over a few of the wins that we've seen in 70 days. It's been 70 days since President Trump was sworn in as the 47th president. So let's go over a few of those right now. President Trump's effort to secure the homeland continued in force. The president directed the successful apprehension of a key MS-13 gang leader, an illegal immigrant living in Virginia, and operated as one of the top 3 MS-13 leaders in the U.S. ICE has arrested 370 plus illegal immigrants as part of a major operation in Massachusetts. President Trump, also shifting gears, imposed a 25% tariff on imports of foreign automobiles and certain auto parts to end unfair trade practices and protect national security. We're going to hear more about that kind of thing coming up on Liberation Day. President Trump also imposed a 25% tariff on all goods from countries that import Venezuelan oil to sever the financial lifelines of the corrupt Maduro regime. President Trump's unrelenting pursuit of American manufacturing dominance continued to deliver results. We saw Hyundai announce that $20 billion investment in the United States, which will create upwards of 14,000 new jobs. And the list goes on. President Trump continued to pursue world peace, pursue peace through strength around the world. U.S. airstrikes eliminated dozens of ISIS jihadis hiding within a cave complex in Somalia. Following U.S.-led negotiations, Russia and Ukraine agreed to a Black Sea ceasefire. And to be honest with you, this list goes on and on and on. We're seeing it. He's winning, and that's what we voted for, a winner. And that's what we have right there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Let's thank a few sponsors before we get ready to go to some executive orders a bit later today. So the next broadcast, make sure to click and watch and see what the president is up to today as he signs more EOs. I know it was on day 67, he signed 107 total in those 67 days, 107 executive orders. Well, we're on day 70 and more executive orders to be signed. Let's go to Colonial Metals Group. Thank you so much, Colonial Metals Group, for being a great sponsor here at the network. freegoldguide.com/RSBN is where you go for a free gold guide on everything gold and silver. All the information you need, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Our next sponsor is Angel Paste, angelpaste.com. You could use the RSBN promo code, get a great percentage off on a number of products, including the Miracle Cream you see on the left side of your screen there, and some other products as well. So just go to angelpaste.com and use that RSBN promo code. Next up, let's go to Lean. So takelean.com. It's a dietary supplement. Always good to have something like that, especially if you're on that page of working out, eating right, and then take that dietary supplement. It'll always be good to do. TakeLean.com and use RSBN for a percentage off. Speaking of that, mypillow.com/RSBN. You'll get quite the percentage off, upwards of 50%. So up to 50% off. So many great products, more than 2,000 right there at mypillow.com/RSBN. All right, so it's the bottom of the hour, 12:30, Monday, March 31st. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks for hanging around with us this morning. Obviously going over a number of the news items from throughout the weekend into this morning as well. But we'll have some more coverage for you as the executive orders will be signed by President Trump later today from that beautiful White House in Washington, D.C. For all of us at RSBN, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you a bit later.